Hello, my name is Raymond Karchevsky, and I am a living Christ. The subject I should like to share with you today comes from the point of view of a simple man of truth, one who has transcended the dualistic conditioning of a satanic society and is free to see the truth about life on earth. The title of the piece is The Flaw of Civilization. You see, man lives in hell. It is a hell of his own making, a hell which emerges within human consciousness when man eschews the direct perception of truth and embraces instead his own parochial, conditioned ideas of truth, which set him at war, both within himself and without, with his neighbors. All civilizations from the beginning of time are satanic structures which are formulated by the mind, the dualistic intellect, and are designed to restrict human behavior according to the right man-made concepts which compel and punish. It is the birth of satanic law, the law of mammon, man's law. Mind controllers, by their very nature, are satanic in their effect upon the minds of man. The word satanic means opposer. Its essence can be seen in the confusion and the conflict born to those possessed of an opposing dualistic intellect. To accomplish the control of the vast masses, they, the people, the masses, must be blinded to the truth. They must be spiritually blinded by their controllers and made to be unable to see the everlasting truth of what is, which stands there in the moment of silence, in the moment of truth, in the moment of eternal now. It is there before their very eyes, yet they cannot see it. So they are forced to believe the ideas that have been conditioned into them by those who tell them what to see. The masses must be seduced into the pleasure and pain of the dualistic intellect. They must prefer the vicissitudes of life to the everlasting peace, which is the legacy of the spiritually sighted. Through hypnosis, the masses are spellbound to their satanic structured, bass-ackward world. They are addicted to their conditioned beliefs, while the truth is all around them, but cannot be seen by blinded eyes. Through myth and mysticism, hypnotically blinded subjects worship the irrational while attacking the simple truth. Their lives are the options and the epitome of bass-ackward, which they choose to follow, driven by positive imagery, which is all illusion. They are caused to commit the most horrendous acts upon their own human family, regardless of the color of their skin or their geographical location, all in the name of a fictional God, a God which exists only in their limited thought-structured intellects. Such blind believers are incapable of direct resonance with the divine intelligence that is God, the essence of the infinite, which is well beyond the grasp of thought, dualistic thought, intellectual thought. Any serious look into the formulation of worldly religions will provide ample proof of the gullibility of such blind believers. Although truth invariably leads to the obvious, the blind are compelled through the outside titillation of a sensated intellect and are moved and motivated via pleasure and pain. The spiritually blinded are in fact mind-controlled robots directed by remote authority. They do not understand, yet they do experience that such hypnotic spells require constant reinforcement in their lives, constant repetition. Is it any wonder why you folks hold the world view dictated to you by your government, by your media? If you have listened this far, you know all this, don't you? But what does that knowledge do for you? Does it set you free? You are well aware of the fact that it does not. It keeps you on the eternal treadmill of acquiring knowledge, which necessarily prevents direct action from being taken in the same moment that the knowledge is being entertained by the mind. Life is in the moment. Life requires direct action. Thought, the product of a dead after moment, impedes such action. It keeps you bound to the illusions of the intellect, which are divided and oppositional. That is the very definition of hell on earth. Look at the popular radio talk shows, both of mainstream and alternative media. It doesn't matter what they call themselves or what their subject matter is, for they are both satanic, for they bind an audience to endless go-nowhere talk, thereby preventing the direct perception, or that is the direct action which is necessary to resolve the problems that they can only talk about. It is a deception, and even the talk show hosts are oblivious to their self-deception, for they would have to relinquish the power that they hold over the minds of many if they were to come to the realization of what they are really doing, not what they profess to do. The audience can be sedated or whipped up in a state of volatility. It doesn't matter which, because as long as they are kept in a reactionary milieu of talk, no action, which is not approved by the mind controllers, are possible. Many of you have noticed the effect that I have had on such talk show hosts, such as Alex Jones and John Stadtmiller, although both have clearly divergent attitudes and talents with regard to mass mind control. Both are oblivious to what they do, or they have sold their souls, knowingly or unknowingly, for the position of power. Thus, they cannot allow truth to reflect their actions. It is when the tyranny of satanic thought is in its final stages and death and destruction adopt the civilized image of population control that the once secure, codependent, mind-controlled doofus is spurred on to actual violence through armed revolution, or they are bass-backward. They have nothing to gain and everything to lose. The rise and fall of civilization repeats itself. It has been going on since the beginning of time, yet no one sees the obvious but simple men and women of truth, Christ. The flaw of civilization lies in its satanic origin of a thought-controlled world. It is the free man, the spiritually sighted man or woman, the simple man of truth who sees what nobody else sees, or at least will admit to seeing. He sees millions of people, controlled by a few, who comprise the remote hypnotic authority which wields such vast satanic power over his fellow man. The millions are kept subservient and enslaved by the few through the subtle suggestion of self-doubt, of impotence. Make a man doubt himself, and you have a slave on your hands, do you not? Make the mass population of a country doubt itself, and you have a country of slaves on your hands. Make a world doubt itself, and you have a world dominating satanic institution which calls itself the New World Order. In these United States of America, the people are said to be sovereign, the government its servant. It is only through mind control and self-doubt that sovereigns can be made to think that they are slaves. America is experiencing that spiritual curse now. A solution? The spell must be broken and not replaced with another reconditioning spell. In that moment of pristine clarity, the sovereign people will understand the true powerlessness of the satanic few. At that moment, the spell is broken, and the illusion of power, of government, and religion dissolves. Only as an individual, sons and daughters of God, simple men and women of truth, standing side by side, shoulder to shoulder, will such expressed direct action dispel the spiritual mantle the satanic mantle, rather, which lies so heavily upon the human intellect. No organization is possible or necessary. On the contrary, all organizations require the satanic coming together based on thought which may be controlled by remote sources. That, my brothers and sisters, is the hell on earth that has existed since the very first civilization here on earth. Think about it. Look at that, and look at the effect it has had upon the lives, the life of your family and friends. And realize that you cannot rely upon anyone else to change that. You must find it within yourself to change yourself. And when you do that, you change the world you live in. Stand up and boycott. Boycott. Boycott the hell that you now live in. Stop supporting it. Stop giving in to the pressure imposed upon you by such an illusion. Do that, and life will no longer be the hell that you experience it to be. Thank you for your time.